Virginia is taking a little vacation, seeing some family, so at least I got my trusty Kimosabi Denny's over here.
Oh, yeah, it's just trying to hold the fort down.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay. Well, it's a Monday. Bird's on his way?
Yep, he should be here shortly.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get this thing going. We're going to get caught up to speed. It is a Monday. If you start slow, so do we.
It's the KVJ Dirt of the Day. It's the KVJ Dirt of the Day. Virginia, take it away. Because you know we need that Dirt of the Day.
Well, obviously, no Virginia here for your dirt, so I'm going to be taking the reins on this. I don't know if you spent any time watching the Olympics over the weekend, but it was on. But was anybody watching? That's the big question. They say that NBC's broadcast for the Tokyo Olympics Games drew 16.7 million viewers. That is the smallest U.S. TV audience in the past 33 years. Now, of course, you hear this all the time with a lot of sports, award shows, and things like that. So viewership is changing a little bit to different platforms, especially the digital. But if you include the NBC Sports app and NBCOlympics.com, the total's still just 17 million on that. So the streaming audiences did increase 76% from the Olympics in 2018. But with you adding all this together, it still is the lowest audience since the games in Seoul, Korea in 1988, which had 22.7 million viewers. So what does that mean? I mean, it is kind of a wonky Olympics. You know, you've had COVID that is going on. I'm not even sure Japan even really wanted this thing, but it's there and it's going on. The U.S. started off a little bit slow, including our basketball team that really never, ever loses in the Olympics, but they started off with a loss. So at first, it seemed kind of disastrous, and you got to figure that some of those losses may have also impacted the audience that they had. But if you missed it over the weekend, the men's basketball team lost its opener on Sunday to France. Now, they had won 25 straight games going all the way back to 2004, 3 straight gold medals. Now, they can still kind of get themselves back in, but, you know, it's kind of an uphill climb. It's just kind of shocking that they even lost in the first place. So maybe that affected some things. Also, the women's gymnastic team, Simone Biles, she actually stumbled, and the U.S. finished second there in the trials to the Russians. So they've got the lead, but Simone Biles was able to rebound and also was able to finish first, even though tripping and falling a little bit. So we'll have to see what happens with the Olympics. But so far, at least when it comes to the ratings, not a great start. Over the weekend, Jennifer Lopez, Ben Affleck were celebrating her 52nd birthday, and they recreated a scene from their 2002 music video, Jenny from the Block. Not a bad little birthday for number 52. They were in Saint-Tropez on a yacht that cost $130 million. Ben Affleck was pictured applying sunscreen to J-Lo's famous posterior, kind of like what they'd done in the video in 2002. So they obviously are a couple celebrating and reportedly even moving in together. Brad Pitt got some bad news. He's going to be spending even less time with his kids. There's an ongoing dispute. It's been happening for years with Angelina Jolie, and he had gotten a win in court, but there was an appeals court that ruled that because Brad Pitt's attorneys were friends with the judge, they struck down that order. So now it looks like Brad is going to get less time with the kids. He's disappointed. He's going to be working on his own appeal, but for now, he's losing time with the kids. New allegations against R. Kelly, including the alleged sexual abuse of an underage boy. So things are getting worse for what they're saying with him. And if you're wondering what the heck happened to Kanye West's new album, Donda, supposed to drop on Friday, it did not. And apparently what had happened was Thursday night, he did a listening party at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. And he was there kind of on the floor listening to his own album. And as he realized, this thing isn't done. This thing still kind of sucks a little bit, so I got to work on it. So apparently he's going back in the lab to work on his album, and now it's going to be dropping supposedly on August 6th.
What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? What's on your mind? Are you thinking about? What are you thinking about?
All right, we got Bird in the house here. Good to have you in.
There are days and then there are days.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Monday struggles.
Yeah, today is just, there's something in the air. Is there a full moon?
I don't know that there is. I don't really look at it up in the sky, though. It kind of frightens me.
It looked kind of full to me. Something's off today, and I have to figure out where these keys are at.
Oh, no. Well, what keys have you lost now?
Well, these are all my keys. I lost them all.
Oh, no.
It's the whole thing, the whole cheese.
All of your keys.
Yes, the house, the car,
Oh, man.
thingies.
Oh, man.
So
How did you wind up driving to work?
I had to get an Uber.
Oh, jeez.
I tried to get an Uber. I started getting it at 5:15, and it kept canceling on me.
Oh, no.
So then I had to go with the expensive one, and that finally got there about 6:07 about 6:07. So,
Wow.
and you still have to wear a mask in an Uber right now, by the way.
Yeah, you're kind of going back to that. I was telling you, I've got a service appointment that's coming to my house tomorrow, and they said that while they're there doing the work, you need to wear a mask in your house.
Yes.
So is that going to be the thing again?
I mean, I think there's, arguments about how much masks are going to come back and what exactly is going to be happening. I don't think, especially at least here in Florida, we're going to go back to any kind of lockdowns or anything like that. I know the numbers are jumping up like crazy, but I don't think we're going to get to that because the governor's really fighting against saying that's not going to happen. And I know that the schools are very adamant that because, we're on deck that this is, I think, the last week of vacation for
then
the
school
kids in Palm
starts.
Beach County, and then school starts. And so they're very adamant about saying, I don't care. Kids are going back because they pretty much, the more studies they do, they realize kids really learned absolutely nothing when they were doing the virtual learning. I know my kid, I just watched him during the day, and I couldn't get him to focus on the screen. I'm like, you need to pay attention, and it was a wash for him. So I'm sure he's well behind.
I think it's tough for everyone because one of my buddies is doing college courses, and same thing. They've been virtual, and no one pays attention at all. They all sit there and watch Netflix.
Yeah,
It's easy to do.
Well, because no one's there to chaperone you. You can do anything you want.
You get away with bloody murder.
Yes.
that's pretty much it.
So I would like to at least ask, does anybody have any helpful hints on how I can go back in my mind and try to figure out where these keys are at? I looked everywhere, can't find them. Is there a trick, some kind of hypnosis trick, where I can go back and try to get what I did with them? I was moving boxes in and out. It could be in the trash. It could be anywhere.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. When you lose your keys, it can...
I know, they could be anywhere. And I looked at all the main spots, and they're nowhere.
I actually had that happen the other day. I'm really good. I go right in the house. I typically put my keys in one spot so I don't have that kind of issue happen. And what had happened was when I was getting stuff out of that usual spot, I set the keys down on the bed real quick and a pillow fell over them.
Oh, jeez.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so it could be something random like that. It was an experience that kind of set me back enough that I'm like, maybe I need to get that tile or something like that for my keys so that I can always find them, because I would hate to have that. That completely throws off your day.
You can't even leave.
My whole day is started off so crappy.
Getting the tile might be.
You have to retrace steps like old school style.
So, I'm not kidding. Someone got me the tile for my birthday, and I lost it.
Well,
True story.
at that point, you just, there's just nothing's going to work.
I got issues.
I got the tile and I lost
You
it.
have to retrace your steps, man.
I got to retrace my steps.
Check all pockets, see if you threw it in the laundry by accident.
Yeah, okay. Anything else on your mind, Bert, or we go to Denny's?
Go to Denny's.
Yeah,
That's all I got.
That's all he's got. Okay, what about you, Denny's? What do you got in your mind today?
So I did some home projects and replaced my kitchen sink and my kitchen faucet.
Nice.
Well, so it started off as originally I was just going to change out the faucet.
Yeah.
But I don't know if so I bought the house from a lady who I don't think she's changed the sink out since probably 97-ish.
Okay.
That was so corroded on. Originally, I was just going to replace the faucet, but I ended up having to take the entire sink out because I couldn't get it off of the faucet. It had, I don't know if it's rusted or corroded or whatever you want to call it, but it had joined into it. And the nuts they put on the thing was plastic. So when you're squeezing it to rotate it, it was just crumbling as I was doing it to the point where it eventually just turned into powder.
Right, that's the worst. Yeah, what do you do with that?
You can't get it off. There's nothing to do. I shot it with WD-40. I shot it with all sorts of things to get it off. So anyway, I took the whole thing out. But I will say the new sinks are next level. The way they've designed, because I've replaced a few things, all the new items for replacing in your house are amazingly well designed now to where it takes a person like me who has no knowledge on how to do this. Yeah. I did it. Putting the actual sink in after I got it all set up and everything took me less than 30 minutes. To get the whole thing out and to try to get the old one off took me about 3 hours. That's just because the old stuff's so designed so poorly.
Yeah.
The new stuff's one bolt and then 2 wires, hot water, cold water, and you're done. That
seems easy, yeah.
It's amazing.
That's a good way to do it.
So if you're looking to do it now, the new stuff, next level. It's so easy to put in. I'd replace everything now because you're going to get to a point where everything's going to rust and get a joint to itself, and you'll never be able to get it out.
Okay. All right.
Man, you sound like such a homeowner.
Yeah,
One guy's got it together over here, putting in sinks. One guy can't find his keys and lost his tile to his keys.
So you need balance on this show. You know,
Yeah.
if we all have
Right.
it together, it's kind of boring. Is it not?
This is yin and yang right here.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
well-
why it works.
Yeah, one guy's completely got it together.
But yes, it's quite the undertaking. But
Yeah.
easily done. There's a whole bunch of stuff too. I changed light fixtures. Those were super easy too. The new stuff's super easy.
Nah, you're just bragging.
No, I'm
Yeah,
not, because
yeah.
I did it when I was a kid with my dad. I'd help him out, where you have to hold the light and he's yelling at you the whole time because you keep moving.
Right.
I used to do that, and it would take him 4 hours to do every project, and he'd be yelling and cursing. And
That's
now,
terrible.
yeah, you can do it in 25 minutes.
That's great.
It's just designed so much better. So
Yeah.
I'd replace anything that you think's janky. Replace it now before it gets ruined and you can't get it off.
Do they have a go-to guide as to what you should try to do yourself and what skill level you need? Because before you do a home repair, I think a lot of people don't realize how easy or how difficult something might be. Like, I have a minimal skill set when it comes to doing anything handy. So, yeah, maybe something like that. Possibly I could put in my own sink. Possibly.
yes.
But a lot of times we get into the project before we realize this really is something that takes a professional, and this is well over my current skill level.
Yeah, YouTube makes it seem like you can do anything.
They
You
do.
can put in a garden, you can put in a sink, you can put in a toilet.
And then you get into it to the point of you're destroying your house, and now it's too late, and you've spent all this money, you ruined what you bought to put in, so you got to replace that, and then you got to call in a professional and buy it all over again.
Yeah, YouTube will give you a false security, so you got to be careful.
Right.
Because I started laying cement. I will never in my life ever lay cement again.
Right, you were
I
saying
vowed,
yeah,
yes.
what a terrible project, but you were in it, and so you had to kind of finish it, and you realized this is something I should have just farmed out for.
It became a personal challenge about halfway through that I
Yeah.
had to finish it,
Okay.
but never again. Will I ever even suggest the amount that they quote you on is
Yeah.
accurate to how painful it is to do that project. It is
Okay.
that agonizing.
That's where me and my dad are at. My dad he's trying to really talk me into putting in our own a garden together. Me and him do it in my
Yeah.
backyard. And we were watching YouTube videos of how to put a garden in and all these steps. And he's convinced we can do it. But it's such a project. Once you're in it, you are in it.
Are you putting in the irrigation too?
He wants to try to do.
That's so big.
He really thinks he can do it. He
Yeah.
does. My dad.
So I would call that a big project.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Irrigation.
Yeah. Okay.
Irrigation, sinks, such a dog.
Sinks is it's two screws. Like the irrigation, you gotta stretch like these tunnels and then
You
lay
got to
pipe.
tap into another line. You got to make sure you don't hit other like gas and electric lines too.
He said he's got a way to do it
Okay.
cheap, and he says he's done it before at our old house.
Okay.
But Randy Pennington style.
Okay.
So stay tuned.
Okay. What I got on my mind here, how do you feel about high school reunions? Because mine was over the weekend, and I got photos and videos and whatnot, and I was just kind of thinking, because there's a part of me that I'm like, maybe I should have gone. But then there's another part of me that justifies, why would you go? Because there's only about maybe 3 people that I even still talk to from my high school days. And I even see them from time to time. So I'm like, what's the point? The people that I really necessarily know or care about, I talk to anyway, and they don't even live in my hometown. So, but I did see some nostalgic photos, and it's like, it would have been nice, but it was lightly attended. And I heard that basically anybody who did still live in town didn't even show up to the reunion. So I'm like, if they don't even drive from half a mile away, why would I come all the way from Florida to southeastern Ohio for this reunion?
Well, I went to mine,
Yeah.
and it got weird.
Right.
People drank way too much, and then everyone started talking about who had crushes on each other.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people did the
Hibbity, yeah.
Oh, they did. There were people who were doing it all weekend long.
Well, I think you got to, and there's also a sliding scale on this, because a 5-year reunion is a lot more insane than the 10-year reunion, than is the 20, than is the 30. And I think as it goes down, when you get to a 20-year or further, you're not going to have people getting as insane. You're not going to have the hookups. You're not going to have all that kind of stuff. it's going to be more, and mine looked really tame. Like, it just looked like they maybe had a couple beers and just sat around for a while, and it didn't look very exciting at all. So I think right now I probably chose right in not going, because it would have just, with cost and aggravation and everything else, I just don't know if it's worth the investment. But how do you know when is a good idea to and to not to go to your high school reunion?
Man, that's the opposite of mine. Ours was just insane.
Which number was that, though?
20.
Yeah.
20 was still that crazy.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was that. That was the one at Waterway Cafe, and I had a bill over $1,000.
They put it on your tab.
Everybody was putting drinks
Yeah.
on my tab, and I didn't realize it.
Oh.
And I got that bill, and I did not handle that quite the best way.
Well, I mean, so you right now are making a really good case for not going
Yeah.
back to a high school reunion.
It was a hookup fest. It was pretty crazy.
My
Yeah.
father just over like 2 weeks ago got a letter for his. I mean, it has to be his 50th
Okay.
reunion over in Maitland, Florida, and he it was labeled as the final. And I was like, why the heck do they call it the final? And he's like, well, because we're all so old. He's like, a lot of us are going to start dying now.
Right.
And I was
so
like, wow, they call it the final?
that is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
This is your
it's-
last chance to see these people.
Last chance. So I think that one kind of goes off, if anyone around still.
Okay, so that's really depressing.
I thought that was a really poor way of wording it.
That makes me really sad. That bums me out.
Yeah,
man.
it said
Who
final
needs this?
class reunion.
Right.
Jeez, Denny's on a Monday?
Yeah.
I hear you. He didn't want it either.
Yeah.
That's horrible. Why don't they just call it Death Day?
That's what it said, final reunion. I was like, what? Why would they call
Wow.
it that?
the death party.
Yeah.
Okay, Denny's, we got a fun little game here. We already heard that Jbird has lost his keys from over the weekend. That caused a little bit of a delay getting in here. The keys that have everything, house, car, anything that you possibly ever want to unlock ever in your life is on those keys.
It's got to be in my house somewhere.
Okay, you think so?
Yes, I'm 98% sure.
People want to know if you crawled out by the shed and took your pants off again this weekend.
That's, I mean, I have to own that.
Yeah.
This is my truth.
Okay.
I haven't checked the backyard to be. This is a new thing.
Okay, it's a new thing.
I had the keys yesterday afternoon, late afternoon. That's the last time I had them. But
Okay.
I'm redoing. I'm making the podcast studio.
Yeah.
So there's boxes everywhere,
Yeah.
and trash bags, and
It could be in trash. It,
It
could
could
be in
be
boxes.
anywhere.
It could be, yeah.
yeah, I'm not good at multitasking.
Yeah.
I just gotta realize that.
One thing at a time.
One
huh?
thing at a time, Bird. You're doing too much.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Slow down in life.
Slow down.
You don't have to do so much.
Slow down and smell the soda.
Sounds like you had another interesting weekend, though. There were a couple things on here that I look at that give me anxiety, but only, I guess, one of these things did not happen to you. And this is a lot to unpack just from one weekend. Okay, which one of these things did not actually happen to Jbird? He shocked himself putting up a fan. Okay, I saw you were doing that. You were switching out, and there was a UFO light that you have where you used to have another light or a fan.
Yeah, that thing is awesome.
Yeah, I saw the video on
Oh
that.
man, that thing is really
I think
cool.
it's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Let me see. You dropped and broke a large jar of duck sauce while waiting in line at the store. Okay. Is that something that happened, Jbird, this weekend? He drove all the way home from the store with a bag of ice then on the roof of his Jeep, and amazingly, the bag never fell off, so it stayed up there the entire ride. Well, that's a good piece of luck, actually. So if that happened to you, that's very lucky. Jbird went dumpster diving and took home a horse statue. Okay. You have been taking a lot of random things to your house and then realizing it was a bad idea.
That is true.
Yeah.
A lot of bad things.
Yeah.
It looks good in the moment.
Right. You've kind of talked about that before. And Jbird took a selfie with an ex-girlfriend's mother in the middle of Publix. Okay. Now, all these things sound like they definitely could have happened.
That's why this game is tough.
Yes. Okay. Denny's, do you have one that you think maybe did not happen to Jbird? So all these things amazingly did. Of the 5 things that I listed off, 4 of them happened, 1 did not. Which one are we talking about?
How well do you know your best friend?
I would say the dumpster diving for the horse statue. I don't think happened.
Okay. That's toward the top for me.
Just because, I mean,
The only other thing that I was thinking too is the bag of ice.
That was
is
the other one weirdly
that's
for me.
That's a great piece of luck that it stays on his roof. I mean, and if anything went right, it's that you actually put the bag of ice on your Jeep, but it stayed there the entire trip.
Yeah, you think that's too good? Too
That
good
seems
of luck?
like,
Yeah.
it seems like that's just
That's funny reasoning.
that's
I've seen a
in-
lot of stuff come off the hood of your car.
Yeah, that's in good fashion. It actually stayed there. Okay, so which one of these things actually did not happen? 4 of these actually did happen. 1 did not. Did he shock himself putting up a fan? Did he drop and break a large jar of duck sauce while waiting in line at the store? Did he drive all the way home from the store then with a bag of ice on the roof of his Jeep with the bag never falling off? Did he go dumpster diving, taking home a horse statue, or did he take a selfie with an ex-girlfriend's mother in the middle of Publix? Okay, which one did not happen? I'm going to go with the ice because that just seems like too much good luck for Jbird. And you're thinking it's the dumpster diving with the horse statue.
Yeah,
Dennis.
I think birds learn not to get like those secondhand items these days. You know?
Okay, as he learned a lesson. Bird, which one of these things actually did not happen?
The Kevin Ralston is right. The ice thing did not happen.
And it's because of the good luck angle.
That's my second choice.
Yeah, you painted some positivity into it, which gave you away.
Hilarious.
How about that?
Yeah, I found this pretty cool looking horse statue in the trash.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
it like what, like a stone statue? Or-
No,
Which
it's like
dumpster was
It's
this?
like a ceramic. It's somewhere in my neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah, someone they had it out in the trash area. It was sticking right out there.
I don't know what it is. My wife has gone through a thing where she just loves other people's garbage, and she is bringing home random things all the time. I'm like, why would you do this?
I was raised this way. My mom and Ann love to dumpster dive. We had so many things from the trash.
Yeah, my wife's done a 180. She used to go from, she would throw away perfectly good items we have just because they were in the way and she didn't want them in the way. And so she'd put it out the curb. I'm like, that's actually really good stuff. Why are you just giving it away like that? I don't want it. Now she's gone the other way where she's going and picking up other people's garbage, and now other people's garbage is in the way. Where I'm like, this doesn't make any sense anymore.
And sometimes, Kev, it's not about the item. It's about the hunt.
Yo, I know.
Yeah, I
I
think
know.
people get hooked on it.
Yeah,
It's
my
the
wife
hunt.
is somewhere in that now. She feels like a sense of victory when she finds something for free out on the curb.
You do. It's not about the item. It's really about the win.
And then we don't do anything with it. It becomes
Yeah,
our garbage,
you're
and
right.
then we put it right back. I can't tell you how many times she's gone and grabbed garbage from somebody else's spot, and then it winds up on our curb later.
Yeah, this horse statue won't make it in my house for 2 weeks. It'll
Okay,
be trash within a month.
You took a selfie with an ex-girlfriend's mom in the middle of Publix?
I did.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
She listens to the program still.
Okay.
Yeah, and she wanted a picture with me.
And was it awkward or?
Of course. It was
Okay.
horribly awkward. Terrible.
It's
Really
pretty
wanted the
bad.
moment to go away quickly.
And what happened when you broke the large jar of duck sauce?
There's a little market by where I live
I
at.
figured that was real
Yes.
because that sounded too specific.
And I went in there just to pick up some plums.
Okay,
and
plums.
I went to get the plums, and I go, you know what? They got a big old jar of duck sauce. And I started getting all these items, and I didn't grab a grocery cart.
Yeah.
And I was waiting in line. And I
Which
got,
that lady's made a comment about before.
yes, and I've got that wag, that weak-ass
Weak-ass
grip.
grip, yeah.
And the duck sauce was just too much for my
Couldn't
hands to
handle it.
bear.
Yeah, strength
And
can't do it.
It smashed right in the middle of the store, and they were not happy about it.
Yeah, no.
They were not happy.
Yeah.
I apologized several times. That was not working. They seriously were annoyed. I did not mean it. Oh, man, it was awful. Very uncomfortable. That, too.
And then how badly did you shock yourself trying to put up the fan?
Enough to make me go, ah!
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, my fan in my bedroom does not work. So
Oh,
I was
okay.
trying to get it to
Yeah.
the light works, but the fan part does not.
Okay, yeah.
And I was trying to your point, watch something on YouTube to help me figure it out, and shocked the hell out of me.
Yeah.
And it didn't fix it.
It didn't.
No.
Yeah, okay.
So-
Yeah, that's why I stay away from that stuff.
That's a
Home
good
repair
point.
is not good.
I'm
The
learning.
electric stuff you got to stay away from. That one can hurt you.
It's electric.
Well, it sounds like an adventurous weekend that you had. I got to say, I don't know that mine was nearly as exciting. Denny's, you put it in a sink. Was that the highlight of your weekend?
It was definitely a highlight. I like. I hung out with the bird a little bit too.
Okay.
Ran into an old friend I hadn't seen in a long time, and then spent just doing fix-it stuff. Man, the fix-it stuff takes up so much time.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I went out to a couple different places like I like to do. Found a new place, Storm House Brewing. It's in North Palm.
That
It's a new brewery.
my buddy owns that. Brian Justine.
Does he really?
I believe that's his brewery.
No way.
It's up in where'd you say?
North Palm.
Yeah, that's it. It's
Like
gotta
the
be
US 1.
Yeah,
Just right not far from PGA.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I'd say they did a nice job with it. The food was really good. Met the chef there. And the chicken wings, very solid. They had the Brussels sprouts. I tried those. And I hear that the beef brisket tacos are amazing. They have one of those big old bar pretzels. You ever seen that with the 3 different dipping sauces?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So they got some good stuff there. And the beer was solid.
I think my buddy owns that place. He owns a brewery. If it's not that one, I'm sorry to everyone involved.
Okay. All right. And apparently that wasn't the only interesting thing that happened to you, Jbird. You said you had a prowler on Saturday night.
I believe so. I'm not
You believe so?
I'm not 100% sure.
Why do you think you had somebody lurking around?
Well, because it was about, I would say, 12:30 at night, and I heard some. It sounded like a generator went on. Like, I thought that was weird, but I didn't get up. I didn't think anything of it. Then I heard one of the things I hate to hear at night. I heard a dog outside barking, "Arr, arr, arr," like something was going on. But right before the bark, I heard a thud by my shed area.
Okay.
And then the next morning, I investigated, and there was things out of my shed outside. Nothing was missing, but things were out of my shed on the side by the ground. So I don't know if I did that and I forgot.
Yeah.
Or if somebody did that. It sounded like someone was by my shed. It sounded like they were going through something. And then there were things outside of my shed missing. I don't have my cameras. I ordered cameras and then I gave them to my niece.
So you keep moving, but prowlers keep finding you.
Always.
That's so odd.
I lead the league in prowlers.
I don't think I've ever once in my life had a prowler.
All my friends say that.
Yeah.
They all say that.
It's
Dude,
so weird that they-
dude, you and your family get so many prowlers. What's going on with y'all?
How are they all drawn to you?
You know what's weird is we've been watching all those prowlers, getting caught on tape and stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's getting in my head too, because it was maybe 3 a.m. over the weekend. I heard a noise and I opened my window and looked out and I thought I saw something move. But the next day, they sprayed for bugs over the weekend, and there was a pot knocked over. And I'm assuming that had to have been the guy from the bug company spraying around.
Yeah.
Possibly knocked it over.
Right.
But it's kind of in my head that it might have been a prowler.
We binge watched on YouTube. These are legit prowlers looking in people's
Caught on
windows.
Ring
They're
doorbells.
caught on
Yeah.
the Ring door.
They catch
And
everything.
Then we end up finding out, as we're binge watching all these prowler videos, seeing all these creepos watching people, we find out that one of Denny's friends is a victim.
Was on a news story.
No
A girl
way.
that my wife knows, one of her friends, actually had a reoccurring case of prowlers to where it made the news. We found her story.
This guy would
Whoa.
look in her window and then knock
Trying to get her
lightly
attention.
to see her move around to look back at the window,
Yeah.
and then he would take off, and that was his MO.
That's crazy. There was a viral video on TikTok over the weekend my wife showed me of a guy, creepy looking dude, fits the MO of the person you don't want at your front door. Saw this woman's husband leave, and he comes up and he's knocking on the door. He's like, "Hi, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question." And then finally she had her husband call and put his voice through the Ring doorbell, and he's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "I want to come in there and I want to kill and rape that lady."
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah, and it was on a Ring doorbell, and that was all over TikTok over the
Oh,
weekend.
I didn't see
We'll
that.
have to watch that. It's
Horrifying.
terrifying.
Yeah, it was absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, man, that stuff's weird. You hear a knock on the door at a certain time, and you know something's just wrong.
I close my blinds now just because we watched so many. The sheer volume of people getting caught by Ring doorbells is through the roof. That means tons of people are prowling right now.
It's a great advertisement for Ring doorbell.
It
It really is, but it
Yeah.
just shows you there is a ton of people looking in people's windows.
And
Probably.
I'd say 60 to 65% of them try opening the door at least
Yeah, they
once.
do, yeah.
They at least give it an
They
attempt.
just walk in.
There's no shortage of these videos on YouTube. Tons and tons of them.
Yeah.
It's gonna give you nightmares though.
It does.
Wow.
We binge watch it, and we have not been the same.
Yeah, I keep thinking there's prowlers now. I close the blinds.
Couple celebrities having birthdays today. Do you know who Taylor Momsen is?
No.
Okay, do you remember Cindy Lou Who from The Grinch?
Yeah.
That's her. She's all grown up, and she's in a band, The Pretty Reckless, and she's gone on done some other acting gigs as well. She's now 28. So little Cindy Lou Who is now growing up. Kate Beckinsale turns 48. Chris Harrison is enjoying his severance pay from the Bachelor series. He's turning 50 today. Jason Statham, 54. Sandra Bullock turns 57. Kevin Spacey is 62 today, and Mick Jagger turns 78 years old.
Did I see that Spacey got an acting gig?
I don't know, maybe.
I thought it was his first acting gig in a long time.
Is he going to be uncanceled, or is he coming back? Because I know Mel Gibson, when he's gotten acting gigs, they haven't been anywhere near close to what he was doing in the early 90s.
I believe it was some obscure foreign film.
Yeah, okay. That sounds about right for where he is right now. So, not surprised by that. All right, if you ever have a birthday you want to get on the KVJ show, just let us know. Send us an email, mail@kvjshow.com, mail@kvjshow.com. All right, it is a Monday morning. It's been an interesting start for us. You know, Virginia is out visiting family, celebrating her 48th birthday. Saw the photo with her and her sister. I know that she was in Nashville. Getting a little bit crazy. Look like they're having a good time.
With sister.
Yes. She was out there with her sister. So she's not with us. She'll be back towards the tail end of this week. So it's all dudes here on the KVJ show until then.
Yeah.
So we got a head-to-head battle here today without Virginia. Jbird going against Denny's and Think Fast.
Oh, Miho versus Miho competition.
Yeah. Okay, let's see how you guys do here. All right. Whoever can come up with a sensible answer first is going to get the point. First up in Think Fast, name something that floats starting with the letter C.
Crap.
Yeah, you know what? I guess it does.
It does.
I'll give that to you, my friend. Very
It
nice.
can, depending on fibers.
Yeah, you're right.
Fibers is a horrible
Denny's
word.
knows the kind of breakdown it takes. What has to be in your diet to get a floater. Okay, how about this one? Think Fast. What is something you pay someone to do starting with the letter P?
Play? Like instruments?
Something you pay something to do, maybe around your house?
Plants.
Plant plants.
Are we taking plants over play?
Plant plants over play.
Or do you just get rid of both
Yeah,
of
we
them?
I'll
can
just
start.
get rid
Let's
of
get
both
a new
answers.
one.
Plumbing, painting,
Oh.
you know, some things.
That's right. Plants.
Plant plants. Okay, how about this? Think Fast. A card game starting with the letter R.
Royal flushes?
No.
No, it's not a card game.
Card game starting with the letter R.
Yeah. Card game starting with the letter R.
Oh, jeez, I can't think of any.
Rummy.
Ugh. Is it? I thought it was gin rummy. Rummy.
Okay.
It's the only
Wow.
one.
This is,
Yeah,
this is
jeez.
going
Sorry
great.
to fizzle.
All right. Let's try another one here. And we'll get better here. This is a very Monday version of Think Fast. Okay. A bad birthday present that starts with the letter D.
Drawers.
Dog poop.
What'd you say?
Drawers? Like pants?
Dog
Drawers?
poop.
Okay. I don't know. So should we take Denny's drawers? Yeah.
We need a point happening at some point.
Yeah. Okay.
Dog poop?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a terrible.
Well, it is a bad
Yeah,
gift.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
hardly a gift.
That's a bad gift. Okay, what do you think about this? We got tied one apiece. A building you might hesitate to enter starting with the letter M. Building you may not want
Marines?
to go into.
No. If you just did a bunch of drugs and you're trying to try out for the Marines.
Or you just don't want to, yeah,
Oh,
maybe,
yeah,
yeah,
you
you
don't
just don't
wanna
want to wind up drafted. Okay, I'll give it to
Nothing against the Marines. It was the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah.
Please don't email
you.
me.
Morgue.
Oh, morgue.
Morgue's another answer. Okay, what about this? A word with two back-to-back R's in it.
Rocky Raccoon.
No.
No.
A word with two back-to-back R's in
Oh,
it.
in it.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I'm dumb.
Yeah.
Two back-to-back R's.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Denny's.
Fervor. I don't know.
Fervor. No.
Oh, my God. What a round.
Hurry.
Fervor.
Hurry. That would
Hurry.
work. Hurry is one.
Murray.
Curry.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you do there.
Chiori.
Yeah,
That
okay.
one doesn't, actually.
All right, we're struggling through this round here.
Oh my gosh.
Jbird with a 2-1 lead.
I feel like time's standing still.
Oh, man.
I only had one coffee, by the way.
Okay, how about this? A photo many people have in their phone that starts with the letter C.
Cocker Spaniel.
Many
Children.
People,
Well,
yeah, children.
you're a Cocker Spaniel owner.
Many people. A lot of people have children. I'm not sure about Cocker Spaniels. Okay, it's tied at 2 apiece somehow. Okay, next up, think fast. Something in the produce department starting with the letter L.
Lentil.
Lettuce, yeah.
Oh.
We'll give that one to Denny's. Bird, you got to get this right.
Oh, man. Brought down by lentil.
And lentil's so on your mind, too.
Yeah. Okay, a recreational drug starting with the letter F.
Fentanyl. Fentanyl is what I meant. Fentanyl.
Fentanyl. Okay,
Fentanyl.
yeah. All right, fentanyl. I'll give you that.
Fentanyl.
You hate fentanyl.
I hate fentanyl, but it's not a drug.
Yeah. Unless you really love pasta. And fentanyl's just a drug to me. Okay, this is the tiebreaker. Person who gets this is our winner. Something you drink out of starting with the letter M.
Mug.
Oh! Dog!
Peace train.
Dropped a bomb right there, the
the
last
mug.
one. Wow.
What a round.
That
What
was-
a round. Poor Kevin.
Oof. Wow.
Poor audience.
Okay.
If they're still there, you guys there?
Yeah. Okay, got some call-outs here today. Who do you need to call out today? Someone saying, I want to call out my kid. I had the pleasure of watching my 2-year-old daughter because my fiance was at her bachelorette party and I was letting the dog out on Saturday night. And my daughter closed the back door behind me and locked it, leaving me outside in my boxers. I had to ring the doorbell for 15 minutes until my fiance answered and could open the garage door from her phone.
You know something about being locked out and,
I do.
and naked?
Oh, it's terrible, yeah.
Terrible feeling.
Oh, it's a terrible feeling to be locked out of your house with no clothes on. So, yeah, thank God for those Ring doorbells.
Do you have one of those?
I don't know. I need to get one because they just seem so valuable.
I ordered one and then I ended up giving it to my niece, but I'm definitely getting one for my backyard.
It seems like it's just good to have to keep an eye on what's going on. Now, I've already got the cameras, and I think that's the only reason why I haven't. I've got security cameras that are up.
You do.
In my front door, but the added benefit of being able to open doors. Now, I don't know if I can do that because I got like those flip locks and things like that. Would a Ring doorbell open that? Or has it got to be only a digital lock?
You have a security system with a camera.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Thank you, Xfinity Home.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm not real sure how the Ring doorbell stuff works. I know that it comes with a bunch of cameras.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one attribute I know. But, man, if it can unlock doors when your little 2-year-old locks you out and you're in your boxers,
Yeah.
it's kind of a big benefit. Somebody else texted in and said, I want to call out the a-hole humans that bag their dog poo on the beach and then throw their bags into the seaweed, which then, of course, washes out to sea. Please shame them. They had a photo of it.
I mean, it's pollution, but it's even worse. It's gross pollution.
Well, and you're putting it in plastic on top of it. Yeah, it's not cool.
There's a lot of people who break the rules when it comes to dogs pooping out there, man.
They do.
It's lawless.
I hear you. Dog owners, be good. Don't be doing that kind of stuff. Elaine said, I would like to call out all the people who bring their pets to non-pet friendly places. Non-service dogs need to be left at home. You're making it harder for people with legitimate service dogs. Emotional support animals do not count as a service animal. Read the laws.
This debate people loved.
Oh, I know. A lot of people stretch it. Julie said, I'm calling out everyone who drives like they have to poop their pants.
Maybe they do, Julie.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. We even got Peter here. He's leaving us a call him out on our mic drop feature on the 97.9 WRMF app.
Hey, guys, listen, I want to call out my wife. Every time we leave the house, she has to pee within 5 miles of leaving. And I suggest every time that she goes to the bathroom before we leave, and she says, no, I'm good. And then we get on the road, and clearly she's not good, and it's kind of driving me insane.
Okay.
Only thing I'll say, because people always get mad about when someone has to go pee. They always respond, why didn't you go 8 minutes ago. Why didn't you go when we left? Well, I didn't have to pee back then, and all of a sudden now I do. That's how peeing works. Mm-hmm. Teachers used to get on kids all the time. Why didn't you go pee when we were all going to the bathroom 10 minutes ago? Well, honestly, Mrs. Johnson, I didn't have to go pee back then.
Right. It's just when the urge hits you.
The bladder's a very tricky animal.
It is. I think they encourage you to go and try to empty whatever you have and push, get that stuff out.
Sometimes, though,
it's still there.
Sometimes it ain't good to push it out, though.
It's not.
Well, I mean, strain. You want to strain that blad?
I don't know. Does it do any damage?
I'm just saying sometimes people don't have to pee at the time.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to pee.
Okay.
I'm just defending those people.
I got you. Okay, you're defending his wife. Good for you. Another bathroom problem. Somebody wants to call out a lady who walked in on me in a public bathroom, and instead of walking out, she asked if I was almost done because this was her favorite stall. What the heck? That's very weird. I have one of those things where I don't like to me, one of the worst feelings is sitting down on a public toilet and it's warm. That to me, it makes my skin crawl.
It does. Well, it should, because someone was just there.
Yes.
That's awful.
Yeah, somebody calling us out for continually running the traffic and weather from Friday. So I think we're trying to work on that. It's a weird technical issue with a very bad computer system we have.
We have gremlins in our computer system again.
Yes, so I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it keeps running the wrong ones, and I guess we can't change it from what I'm being told. So I hear you.
Well, that's a tough problem to have.
I don't understand that.
We can't get the wrong traffic out.
I don't understand how we can't stop running the wrong one, but
that's a different kind of problem.
It is odd. I don't know what's going on there. Let me see. Somebody wants to call out. Man, we got a lot of these problems. I want to call out the lady that came into the Dunkin' yesterday and called me a drug addict because I didn't get her a small hot coffee fast enough, and then continued to verbally abuse me. You know where coffee is fresh at home? Make it how you like it. At Dunkin', we got 2 people working. How dare you come in, old Karen?
I wonder how that played out. Was she waiting in line and it wasn't coming quick enough, and then she just looks at the employee and goes, "Hey, drug addict."
Yeah, this is a story we've been talking about, it seems like almost every single day over the last couple of weeks. And there is a story again about this. People in the service industry. I was just even reading today, they closed down the Mellow Mushroom in Delray Beach, and it'd been open for 14 years. They did the pandemic okay, but they're having problems staffing. And a lot of the servers, they said, just during the pandemic, one, it's because they were still getting stimulus money, but 2, a lot of them just during the pandemic, they said, you know what, I'm tired of working this field. I want to try something different. And then for whatever reason, people are worse after the pandemic at treating other people, and they have no patience. There are production shortages. Sometimes they don't have enough equipment. They don't have enough staff. And so people aren't nearly as patient as they used to be, and they're barking out stuff. And I saw that restaurants across the U.S. are now having problems with workers quitting in the middle of their shifts. Somebody will come in when you're working at Dunkin' and saying, "Hey, what are you, a drug addict?" And they're like, "You know what? I'm kind of over this." And they just walk out, and now where they had 2 employees, now they have 1. And now 1 employee is trying to make it happen, and then they get insulted enough to like, you know what? Let's just close down the store. That's what happened to the Burger King.
Yeah, I know.
Remember that? The Burger King was closed because everybody quit, and they said, we're just tired of being berated and the terrible working conditions.
And it's happening here locally. We talked about my dad going into Burger King at 12:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Right in the heart of lunch, and they could not serve because there was no one working.
Well, these people are humans, honestly, and a lot of things are out of their control. And when you come in and you talk to them, they are people. So when you talk to them so rudely, they don't deserve that. And then they're just like, you know what? I don't need this. I'm not really feeling like I get paid enough for all of the crap I'm going through. And ultimately, it's going to affect you. What are you going to do now when Dunkin' can't get anybody to get you your coffee? Because you've run everybody off because you're a terrible person. You just have to have more patience and be like, all right, Dunkin' might take a little bit longer today. Let me leave 10 minutes early if I got to have that coffee. That's what you got to do.
Look, I'm the voice of Duncan, Kev, over here.
Right.
It's hitting me. I feel you.
Got to stand up for the people.
I got to call out the guy that was in front of me at line while I was at Dunkin' because I felt bad for Dunkin'. The guy in front of me, you know those floss sticks? Those they look like kind of like crescent moons.
Yeah.
You can floss with them. He was flossing while he was putting his order in, and he kept setting them on the counter.
Oh.
No, that's gnarly.
How insane is that?
That's so gnarly.
The employee asked him to pick him up, and he goes, "Not my job." And then he went and waited, and she used gloves and scooped it into a trash can.
So he
for
put
him.
him on the counter. Then he goes, "Not my job." What a douche.
Yeah, but he was
A gross douche.
flossing. It was so gross.
Why are you flossing in Dunkin'?
While ordering, the lady couldn't understand him because he had the thing in his mouth, like while flossing.
That's it. We see some weird
was
things
weird,
out there,
man.
man.
I did not.
There's a
want to see
lot
that.
of weird people that are out there.
There's a lot of weird.
I think people got more weird during the pandemic, and now they're just stumbling back out into society.
I think that's the
and they
case.
forgot how to act.
So you would say did we get closer from each other, or do we get do we get?
I think we got further away. I think people really have to relearn what it's like to be a civil person in society. I think a lot of people really do.
it does kind of feel like there's a bit of a spiritual depletion with just throughout. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of why
I'm
we do
just
this. We
everyone-
want to remind people.
I don't know. Just everyone being kind of cool with one another.
Yeah, this is what you got to do. You got to be cool to the people. Now, this is a longer little bit of an email here. They want to call out a mom for not pulling her weight. They said, my daughter is one of 4 kids that routinely play together in our neighborhood. For the summer, us moms have been taking turns taking the kids out for some daytime adventures. We've been taking them to the water park and animal parks, or just to go play at a community park. Each mom has already taken the kids 3 times each, but the 4th mom has never even taken the kids out once. We've kind of joked with her about it, but she claims that she's just too busy to do it herself. She doesn't work, so I'm not sure what she's too busy at doing. The other moms have asked me now to call her on it. One mom even suggested that we stop letting her kid come with the other kids. Now, I don't want to put it on her kid, though, and I'm debating if I call this mom out or just ignore it. So, would you say something? Apparently, for some reason, you've been elected in the mom group to talk to this other mom and say, hey, it's not cool. We've all been pulling our weight. We've each taken the kids out, 4 kids at one time, 3 different times. You haven't done this once yet.
And she's been elected to confront her? Why does she have to do it?
Because apparently they're like, oh, we want you to say something.
Well, I mean,
thanks.
yeah, why do you have to have your weekend suck and get invited to get involved in that?
Yeah, so does she say anything or not? What would you do, moms, if you were in this situation? Should the 3 moms step up and say something, or do you just ignore it and say, it'd be nice if she did, but we're not going to? And what about the one mom that says, you know what, just stop having her kid come along. Just bring the other 3 kids. Is that right? Is that wrong? Somebody said, well, maybe this mom doesn't have any money. And I get that, but it seems like they're cool with just going to a park, which, is free. You can just walk into a park and, that's not it. They're saying the best way to handle this is just maybe a private one-on-one. Maybe not with all 3, but maybe one mom goes and just says, hey, I just wanted to see, this is something that's kind of come up. Because somebody said, you don't know what anybody's ever going through. Maybe she's got depression, anxiety. Maybe there's something like that is going on.
Maybe she's a drug dealer.
Do you think so?
Well, you just don't know.
You don't know.
I'm just throwing it out there. I'm throwing
Sure.
out that X factor.
So she's a drug dealer. You'd be going, okay, why don't you just do your drugs? That's fine. Yeah, we don't want you to take the kids anyway. Yeah, a lot of people think maybe there might be some kind of anxiety disorder or something else that she has that might be going on. So, yeah, I guess probably understanding a little bit more, continuing the conversation. And that's kind of what we're even going back to with the person who did the call him out from the Dunkin', where you got to understand the situation a little bit more. Before coming in and asking if somebody has a drug problem that is working at a Dunkin' because they're maybe a little bit slow with your order. And by the way, that person texted back and said, it had only been 2 minutes, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
So they just flat out looked at you and go, you got a drug problem. I want my coffee.
Yeah. So maybe try to understand what's going on at the Dunkin', that they only have 2 employees. They normally have 5 or whatever it might be. They're missing a lot of supplies that they normally get because of supply shortages that are going on. So, yeah, before you start popping off and being nasty and rude, try to understand maybe what the situation is going a little bit before. So maybe that is the right way to handle it. And in this case, it's probably a good idea to try to understand what is going on in this situation. Somebody else said that the mom clearly doesn't seem interested in taking the kids out, so I'm not sure that I would even want her to be responsible for my child if she's not into it. Is she really going to be good supervision for these kids? So, and then that's where you just got to ask the question, do you continue inviting her kid? I would hate to have the kid punished. It's not the kid's fault. So I'm with the one mom who's saying, yeah, I'm not comfortable with that. So there you go. So any other thoughts you got on that, you can get a hold of us, 877-979-WRMF, 877-979-9763 for your call-em outs. There is kind of a call-em out that is going on in the Olympics. And Olympics has kind of been a mess. I mean, I know they're dealing with COVID, so that's kind of caused some of the problems. But this isn't really a COVID problem that is going on with this team from Norway.
Have you been watching any of it?
Minimal amount. My wife insisted on watching it last night. They had the triathlon, I think, was on. We saw a little bit. We saw a little bit of Simone Biles. Watched that. But, yeah, I didn't see the U.S. lose in basketball. I didn't see that. I would have liked to see the softball. I just don't know when a lot of this stuff is on, so I haven't been given a lot of time to it.
Am I a bad American because I'm not at all excited to watch this?
No. I mean, we just talked about this last week. The Japanese don't even care.
Yeah.
It's so bad that Toyota, who was a major sponsor, their CEO and execs didn't even show up because they didn't want to be associated with the Olympics because people don't like it there. There are a lot of people that are protesting. Either one, I don't know if they don't like the Olympics or they just really don't think they should be happening with what's going on with the COVID numbers there. But this doesn't have anything to do with COVID. This to me is just like, what are you doing, Olympics? Norway's women's beach handball team got fined because they wanted to wear shorts instead of the bikini bottoms they were required to wear for the European Championships. And they got fined, and Pink, the big old pop star, actually thought it was so wrong that they would do this and make them wear these bikini bottoms or fine them that they didn't, that she's agreed to pay all their fines. But, I mean, what a terrible, why would you not let them wear shorts instead of bikini bottoms?
How do you play handball? What kind of sport is that? Is that
beach handball? I don't know. A lot of people are putting them on blast because it doesn't sound like there's any kind of requirement why you would have to be wearing bikini bottoms. They say, look, we don't want to wear this outfit.
Are they also putting the Olympics on blast that they have handball as a sport?
That might be another one.
I never.
They have some random stuff in there.
They got some really weird stuff in the Olympics.
Yeah, they do. They got the skateboarding that's going on. In fact, we've got a dude from Jupiter that has been in there competing for skateboarding. That's kind of new to the Olympics.
Sweet, man.
There was actually a 13-year-old girl that wound up winning for the skateboarding. She's from Japan. She's the women's street skateboarding event. She's the youngest gold medal winner now in Olympic history.
Did she bust an ollie?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. So there you go. We also have Jessica Ramsey from Boynton Beach. She is in the shot put. So we've got a couple South Floridians that are in competing for the Olympics. The numbers on the Olympics, though, not really that good. They say that the opening ceremony drew 16.7 million viewers, which is the smallest U.S. television audience in the past 33 years. And even if you add in the streaming, apparently the numbers are as bad as they've been since the 1988 Seoul Games. So doesn't look like the Olympics are going very well.
So I'm not the only bad American not watching.
No, there's a lot of bad Americans that aren't really dialed into it. So do you have any positives? We can do some good call-em outs as well. Somebody wanted to call out the Tropical Smokehouse by Southern and Dixie. First time there yesterday. Food and ambiance was awesome. Great service. We'll be making the drive from Jupiter again, so that's good. So we do have some good service and good experiences that are going on. There's other couple cool things that are happening here that deserve a call-em out here today. In fact, if you've heard Digital Vibes, Virginia's always talking about them. They come out to the Stars Ball and things like that. They're doing their 10th annual Kids Fit Jam-a-thon at the South Florida Fairgrounds coming up on Thursday. They're a nonprofit that teaches underserved Palm Beach County children about dance, fitness, technology, and the arts to help curb childhood obesity. And the dance crews come from 70 Florida summer camps. They compete for a $500 prize. And they did a dance to a Natasha Bedingfield song when they were in Orlando. It went viral, and now she's going to be the judge on Thursday.
Very nice.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool of her to do that. There also was a rally on Sunday night to support the owner of the Ramen Lab Eatery in Delray Beach. He was a victim of a racist rant that got recorded and went viral. People saying some awful things to the owner of the Ramen Lab Eatery in Delray Beach. And so yesterday they had a whole bunch of people out there supporting him and saying, this just isn't cool. We're not going to put up with this in our society. That's not the way to behave. And so they stood up and said something about it, which is a really cool thing. So congrats to everybody that took part in that. Getting some interesting comments and realizing that, boy, it sounds like the Olympics are turning political now. So
They are, I know, man.
like everything is, man. It's
You
crazy.
can take an egg sandwich and it will turn political.
You can't do anything anymore without it becoming a political fight on people. So it's so weird that you got Team USA can be controversial.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's controversial.
Pretty crazy. Also, to dial in a little bit more on that fine that had happened for the women's, I guess it's kind of like beach handball, which somebody said it's kind of like a beach volleyball. Is what they were doing, that the men got to wear shorts. They had to wear bikini bottoms. They refused to do so, so they got fined. Pink stepped in and paid the fine. So apparently that was something going on. And I didn't get this. Somebody said, how about I call them out for the gymnastic league changing their scoring just so Simone Biles wouldn't be too far ahead of everybody else.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either, but it's getting people all kinds of upset.
It's getting political.
Yeah. So there you go. Who would have known that? Also, I don't know what is going on with Facebook. Is everybody having problems with it, or is it just us? There's weird, wonky things that we're dealing with. It seems like the last 2 or 3 months, Facebook has done something, and it doesn't seem to work right.
It feels like it's possessed.
Yes.
It's not working right for us, for sure.
And somebody's saying, I need to call out Facebook. My mother's account got hacked, and she's not sleeping, so now I'm not sleeping, and I've tried everything, including sending her license to prove her identity, and they keep writing back, sorry, we can't verify her ID. Meanwhile, the person who has access to her account keeps trying to use it for Facebook ads and advertising, and there's nothing I can seem to do about it. That is...
The hacker wins.
Apparently, they just keep running up the charges, and they're trying to contact Facebook, and you can't get anybody live.
Yeah, if you try to deal with Facebook for any problem, you better pack a very, very long lunch.
Yeah. And what a pain in the behind, especially if somebody's draining your account on Facebook ads and you can't seem to turn it off or stop it.
TikTok gets back to you pretty quick. Facebook does not.
Okay. Well, I think there are more people on Facebook. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
I hate Facebook.
It's getting pretty annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with it. And people, somebody just realizing this, I'm calling out the a-holes in traffic who honk their horn as soon as the light turns green. Why is this a thing now? Who are these people? In fact, it doesn't make me want to move. It makes me want to not move. You're right. I kind of feel the same way.
There's a fine line here. You can't also wait for 7 seconds. If it's 7 seconds on a light you know is going to be quick, you're supposed to just sit there?
I think it's a 5 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A light little tap.
Okay. There's a way to tap lightly to make it not as offensive.
Laying on the horn as soon as the light turns green. I've had it where I'm staring at the light and I'm trying to blow through it because I want to get going as fast as possible. And as soon as it turns green, somebody lays on the horn.
But again, some people do know certain lights very well. For example, there's a light by my house. It's very temperamental. It's quick. You don't have long. Once it turns green, you've got about a 6-second window of getting through there.
Yeah.
Do you beep? Again,
I think you've got to wait just a couple of seconds. I don't think that you beep right away. It's to the point that what makes people upset is when you are going right at a normal pace, leaving the light, and yet they're still laying on their horn and they're being very rude about it.
Is there a way to beep friendly? Just beep, hey, how's it going?
Beep,
beep.
The longer you lay on the horn, the more aggressive it is.
Okay.
Well, you know what's weird is first time I went to the Bahamas, everybody was beeping, and my first reaction was to flip them off. But it's a friendly thing in the Bahamas. They honk, they beep their horn at you, like little beep beep, and it's like to say, "Hey neighbor, what's going on?"
That's what I'm talking about.
It's the friendliest thing. Yeah, a horn honk in the Bahamas is friendly. In Boca Raton, it's the rudest thing ever.
Because I know if I did the light beep in my area, people would flip me off.
Yeah.
They'd think I'm being aggressive, but I'm just trying to wait. Hey, what's up, Jeep?
Right, exactly. Carlos said, yeah, a lady honked at me while I was grabbing the ticket at the Turnpike booth. I think they're pretty much getting rid of that everywhere. I don't think they're going to have that where you're grabbing tickets anymore because it slows everything down so much. They want to keep
You're still paying for the Turnpike, though?
I think they're going to. I think they're going to do a different identification system, something maybe with the license plates.
I want one of those Turnpike shirts.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Well, I don't think they have them anymore because they don't have any Turnpike workers.
There's none right now?
They're pretty much getting rid of all the booths. They're all going to be gone.
But are they still going on right now, or they're going to be gone?
I haven't seen a toll booth worker, and I can't tell you how long.
I don't know how long. I don't think I've been on that Turnpike in, geez.
Yeah, I think you're going back to the good old days. Maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when they had those funky little Florida, Hawaiian-looking shirts.
You're telling me those Hawaiian shirts have not been in the Turnpike world in at least 3 years? Is that what you're telling me?
I haven't seen one. I can't remember when. So somebody can let me know. I'm sure somebody knows exactly when it happened, but I don't know that there are any more Turnpike workers.
I'll buy a Turnpike shirt off of somebody if they have them. They got to.
Now they're going to be
vintage, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know where you're
Turnpike
going to get
shirt.
one. Yeah, I think the good old days are over, my man.
Man, everything's changing, Kev.
Yeah, well, welcome to the world.
The world's so big.
It is. Okay, we all do dumb things, but were these people little kids or drunk adults when they did their dumb thing? You can leave us a fun little message. You can put it on to the mic drop feature on the free 97.9 WRMF app. You can download that and put that in. And then we will go on ahead and try to guess little kid or drunk adult. Okay, we've got Samantha here who left this. What do you think, little kid or drunk adult on this one?
I seriously had a meltdown because I was crying hysterically because of my pet parrot was going to have to live his life without his hands.
Okay, so she had a meltdown because she was sad that her pet parrot was going to have to live his life without his hands.
His hands? Do parrots have hands?
They don't have hands, and I guess this is why she was so sad that unfortunately he doesn't have hands to grab things, and he can't play patty cake or give you a high five.
I mean, is there a third option where she's high?
Maybe. She could have been on other substances. Does this sound like something that would make a little kid cry or a drunk adult cry?
It's got to be a little kid, right?
Sounds like maybe it would be a little kid.
Yeah, a little kid.
Okay, all right. You're going little kid on this. I'll go there with you.
I was a drunk adult. What was the ridiculous part is that I made two of my drunk girlfriends cry with me for the same reason.
Yeah, I'm thinking they were probably high, too.
Yeah, what?
Drunk logic. Apparently she got drunk and sad that her parrot doesn't have hands. Okay, interesting one. How about Danielle? Was she a little kid or a drunk adult?
Okay, so my brother and I one day were in the house, and he decided that he wanted to play with lighter. Well, we couldn't find anything to light the fireplace with, so he grabbed a bunch of money that my mom had stashed.
Oh, boy.
And so he lit it and threw it in the fireplace. Well, one of the dollar bills ended up on the carpet, and we burned down the house.
Wow, my gosh.
That's quite a turn in the story.
Wow. Burned down a house. You're burning because you're burning money.
Little kid.
That one's got to be a little kid because I think a drunk adult would be like, man, we could buy more beer with that or whatever.
Definitely little kid.
Okay, I'm sticking with little kid too.
So we were little, but my mom was drunk. Thank God she had insurance.
We were little, but mom was drunk.
What? So what happens when you burn down your house? And if you do have insurance, do you get another house?
She said mom had insurance, so I assume they took care of the repairs or whatever it was. That'd be my guess. Okay. All right. How about that? All right, both get a point on that one. She was a little kid. All right, what about this little kid or drunk adult from Dean?
I decided to go out wearing my mom's clothes. And it was 2 hours before anyone really said anything. Also, I'm not a cross-dresser.
I'm going drunk adult.
You think drunk adult?
Drunk adult.
I'm going to go little kid because he said it was like 2 hours before anybody said anything. Like maybe a little kid would go out and they didn't notice.
No, he got hammered, put on his mom's clothes, and went to go party.
Okay. All right. Little kid or drunk adult, different answers here for Dean.
I was a little kid.
Damn it.
That's right. I went out to play at one of my girlfriend's houses. Her mom saw us playing, but just thought I was another girl from the block. It wasn't until we had a snack later on that her mom noticed it all, and she just thought it was cute.
These are some weird ones this week.
Oh yeah,
This is
we got a twisted audience, my man. We get some weird stuff going on. Okay, we'll try one more here. This is Paul. Was he a little kid or a drunk adult when he did this?
I threw a clothes iron out the window and happened to hit my brother in the head.
oh my god.
He threw a clothes iron out the window and hit his brother in the head.
Little kid.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on that. I think that's a little kid as well.
I was a drunk adult.
What?
My brother was helping me move from my house in college. We thought getting hammered was a good idea. This led to me drunkenly throwing out most of my worldly possessions. When I got to my clothes iron, I chucked it out the second-story window into the dumpster below, not knowing that my brother was in there retrieving everything I was throwing away of value. The iron caught just enough of my brother's head to knock him out cold.
Oh, my gosh. I would not be helping somebody move if they threw an iron. You could kill somebody.
Iron to the temple. That'll kill a man.
Oh, my gosh. I'd be like, bro, I would. Wow.
I've been hit with a lot of things in my head. I don't think I've been hit with an iron. I've been burned with an iron.
Dang. That's crazy. Okay. All right. You know what else is crazy? I was reading online some of these stories about people that have come out or come to during a procedure where they were under anesthesia.
Oh, these stories.
Oh my gosh. To me, that is the most horrific thing that could ever happen. I've never had to go under.
Ever?
No,
You've
ever.
never been under?
Never been under anesthesia.
That's crazy. I've gone under at least 10 times.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
10 times?
I've had, yeah.
What have you done that you had to go under 10 times?
Well, my kidney, I had my
Okay, yeah.
appendix, I had a hernia, I had my tonsils.
Oh, my gosh.
I had my wrist surgery when my hand went through a window.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been under a bunch. There's other times I'm forgetting.
Yeah, so those stories are kind of weirding me out. But the other thing that makes me nervous about anesthesia is apparently some people will say some really goofy or inappropriate things.
I know.
When they start coming to, and I'm like, I would be terrified that I might reveal something that maybe be too honest, because there are a couple things that I hold on to that I just can't or wouldn't say.
Well, that's what happened to me when I thought I was having a heart attack, and I went to the ER, and it ended up being just a panic attack. But they gave me this thing called Ativan, and it was this, I guess, this anti-anxiety medicine.
Yeah.
And it made me start talking about all these with the girl I was dating at the time.
Oh,
and all
my
these
gosh.
nurses started coming in, and I was just like, and then she did this, and then I said that, and I remember leaving going, oh man, I feel weird. What did I just say to everybody? And I
See, that's horrifying to me.
It was. I felt so weird after, because I said a lot of odd things.
And was that while you were still doing radio, and was it here?
That was here. Oh yeah.
Okay.
That was not. I mean, that was probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
See, I'd be terrified.
It was awful. I hated that.
I mean,
feeling.
if somebody like knew who you were and you were saying something, and you said something terrible.
I think they might have. I think that's why they kept coming in, because they were laughing when I left. I got a feeling that they might have listened to the program.
So I'm just kind of curious, what did you say or what did you do while coming out of anesthesia during a medical procedure? Is there anybody that said something that did it cause problems, or is there kind of an unspoken code of saying you can't hold anybody accountable for anything they ever say while coming out of anesthesia? That seems like that should be the right rule, but I know that a lot of people couldn't separate. They'd be going, oh, okay, you got honest.
Yeah, I know.
That'd be the worst. You just had a major medical procedure, and then you come to, and the person who brought you home is pissed.
Yeah, and you have no idea what you said.
Right.
Oh, God, I hate it.
Okay, has this ever been you? 877-979-WRMF. You can hit us up here on the KVJ show. These stories are kind of horrifying to me. Now, I don't have any kind of procedure coming up. I've never been under when it comes to anesthesia, but I'm looking at some of these stories, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what some people do and what they say If I did this, I don't know. I might lose friends and family.
You know, some people wake up in the middle of brain surgery. Could you imagine that?
I don't think they put you under during brain surgery.
Well, maybe that's why they wake up.
Yep. I think they keep you awake the entire time.
Really? With every brain surgery?
I believe so. Yeah, I think that they want to make sure you're coherent. In fact, they have people doing different things. I've seen people getting their brains operated on. They're like playing guitar and things like that. It's crazy.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. Yeah, that's one of the. I don't. As far as I know, I don't think they actually put you under for brain surgery, which is completely horrifying.
I
to me.
would be so bummed out the night before. I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to be awake for this.
That'd be tough to go through.
I guess I'll ask to play guitar during it.
Yeah, that would be tough. Some of the things that people are saying here, they're texting in their stories about being on anesthesia when they're coming out. One is kind of weird. Somebody said, my son is the nicest, most polite person you'll ever meet, but when he comes out of anesthesia, he is mean and nasty and rude and crude and will cuss the nurses out. I have to go in there and calm him down.
Well, what if you say the most horrific stuff?
That's kind of it.
I mean, the worst you could imagine.
I know. Especially, today's cancel culture.
You're getting filmed.
You say something or a word you shouldn't say or anything like that, and who knows why. It's a word that, because she's saying he never acts this way or talks this way ever.
Yeah.
So imagine a word that you would never say or want to say.
Exactly.
And you're coming out of it and you're saying it or screaming it. Oh, my gosh. Exactly. Somebody else said that, when I was 21, I had a minor procedure done. My mom was with me in the recovery, and when I started coming out, the anesthesia, I don't remember exactly what I was saying, but I was the rudest and nastiest person on my mom, and she was horrified that I was talking to her, especially in front of her friends and coworkers. The nurses assured her that it's in no way reflection of me and her parenting, but I felt so bad later on.
Do you get a pass? That's the question. Do you get a pass for being horrific after an operation?
I think medical personnel are saying that you should, but the question is,
Twitter won't.
But there may be people in your family or your friends that may not give you that pass.
Society may not give you the pass.
That's why this is really horrifying to me. Somebody said that my girlfriend started hitting on the doctor when she was coming out, saying how cute he was and was asking if they could go on a date and see each other and how much fun they would have together.
That's awful.
Right in front of me. Somebody else said, I started to try to hook up with two of my female nurses. I tried to get them into a little three-way action. Obviously, my wife was not happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, can you get in trouble for being predator-like for that? Let's say
don't think so.
Well, let's say you're under and you grope somebody.
I think you get a pass. Like I said, with the medical professionals, I think you get a pass. And I assume this is a pass from everything. Like, you're just not yourself. But I don't know. I'm so scared about everything I say and do and look and everything that, this is really kind of crazy to me. Yeah, that's insane. Okay, got Christine on here from Boca. And you were yelling the F word while under anesthesia, Christine?
Yes, I was. Good morning.
Good morning. What happened with you? You were going under, and when were you yelling the F word?
So 5 years ago, I had a heart attack, and they did a catheterization. So they put you under an anesthesia that puts you where you're coherent, but you don't remember anything after the procedure. You have like total amnesia from what happened.
Okay.
And unfortunately, that night in the hospital, I had a second heart attack. So I had to go back in the next morning for another catheterization. And of course, it was the same surgeon, and one of the nurses were the same. So the nurse proceeded to tell the new nurse how I was dropping F-bombs and screaming so loud that everyone on that side of the surgical floor was hearing everything I was saying.
Oh, my God.
Were they mad at you, or did they understand?
No, they were laughing about it. They were forewarning the other nurse what was going to be coming out of my mouth. And I was so embarrassed. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Now I'm all of a 5'1" tiny little lady here and 50 years old when this happened. And they were not expecting that from me.
Wow. Okay.
So it was a little embarrassing, but they were laughing about it and, all good. But yes, a lot of things come out of your mouth apparently while you're under.
Yeah, so you get a pass from the medical people, but somebody said when I was 16, I got my wisdom teeth out, and as my doctor was trying to help me to the recovery room, I told him, I'm like, don't worry about me. I said, trust me, I've been way drunker than this. I'll be fine. And the next 2 hours was then spent listening to my mom yelling at me about drinking so young and how bad I just made her look in front of everybody.
Because he was honest about drinking?
Yeah, apparently he was honest and saying, don't worry, I've been way drunker than I am right now. And his mom heard that, and he had to hear about it for 2 hours. Like I said, I think the medical professionals are, but will the people in your family be cool?
It sounds like no.
Wow. Okay. Somebody said it's a dude. Every time I come out of anesthesia, I am at full attention.
Yeah, I mean, that's horrifying. What if you're not really, you don't have the wherewithal to put that thing away?
All this terrifies me.
Doesn't that terrify you?
Yeah, I think I'm more scared of
people
coming
are
out of
making it seem
anesthesia
like
than procedure.
you just lose control.
Drew on here from Boca. So did they put you under for brain surgery or not? You said your mom had brain surgery, Drew?
Yeah, so my mom had brain surgery, and she was coming out of anesthesia. And while she was coming to, she overheard the nurses mentioning how she probably isn't going to survive and do well. And as she's coming to, she kind of was thinking to herself, like, am I alive or did I not make it? And this is a dream.
That's
Whoa.
crazy.
And, oh my gosh, that would be something. And your mom made a full recovery?
Yes, my mom made a full recovery. I mean, some limitations, but not anywhere compared to where they thought that she was going to be.
So was she actually under during the surgery for the brain surgery?
So they I work in the medical field, and I heard you guys mention about not going under. So there's different types of anesthesia.
Mm-hmm.
You are not fully sedated, so that way your body can still show those signs and symptoms of pain and stuff like that.
Oh, jeez.
So
Okay.
you're not fully under, but yes, you are sedated enough where you don't feel the procedure.
Okay. All right. That's still just...
Ironically enough, I actually had brain surgery just recently, and it was interesting.
I bet. Oh, my gosh.
You doing okay?
I am. I'm doing very well. It was kind of a interesting thing. I thought I had perforated an eardrum, and a couple years later found out I had a tumor in my ear canal that was eating away at my brain.
Oh, my goodness.
Jeez.
Oh, my God. How about that? Two people in the same family having a brain surgery. Well, we're glad
I know.
that you're doing well, Drew.
Yeah, go get a pizza today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. How about
Thanks.
that? Okay, yeah. Somebody said that my fiance had neck surgery and he woke up from anesthesia fighting and screaming and being nasty. Security had to be called and he was in restraints for 12 hours. He broke the hospital bed.
Yeah, I know someone that this happened to. They were having a seizure, and the police didn't know they were having a seizure. They thought they were just being unruly, and a fight broke out in the hospital. And they got their ass kicked. And they were legit going under a seizure. They got in a lot of trouble for it.
Wow.
But they don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
They just remember waking up handcuffed to the hospital bed.
That's it. Can you imagine coming to and you're handcuffed to a hospital bed?
No, and not having any memory of fighting the cops. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Okay. Gosh, these stories, man.
I know.
Crazy stuff. And Annie is on here from Jupiter. And are you a female physician? Is that right, Annie?
Yeah, I mean, it's not so important what my title is, but yeah, essentially, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you said that one of the things happening in the medical community is there's kind of a dark side with patients, nurses, and doctors that happens kind of with anesthesia and maybe allegations and things like that. What exactly is going on, Annie?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of bring to light a little bit that while this topic is fun and I can sit there and I can laugh at the stories, one thing I did hear is this idea that sometimes in the medical profession we give people a free pass. And of course we do have to give people a free pass because they are under anesthesia. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think it's important to think about some of the things that get said to us as the female nurses physicians, PAs, NPs, whether we're taking care of them in the OR, in the PACU, male nurses, male physicians, same thing as well. Some things do last. Some things do stick with you even after you go home. And it is a thing where, you know, you punch anyone or you say something aggressive like that to anyone in any other field, there are repercussions for that. You do something like that in the medical field, and we just say, oh, well, I mean, whether you're under anesthesia or not, we just say, oh, well, nah, it's okay. You know, you know, if you're the nurse, if you're the doctor, you have to take that. And that's something that we all know going into this profession, but I just kind of wanted to bring to light that sometimes we're almost forced to give people a free pass, but that's not really what we, you know, that's not exactly, that free pass still has a psychological toll on us as the provider at the end of the day.
Yeah,
but
I don't doubt that.
Is there really something to it, though, to where if someone is under the anesthesia and they do something that's out of character or out of line, is that something that you guys back up, where you do kind of understand that? Or is it something where you guys are kind of like, well, there's still no excuse for that?
And that's the thing. I mean, you have to take into account, too, how much sedation someone had. There's different types of anesthesia people had, and everyone has a different reaction to it. So it is really hard because no matter what, someone would be considered altered mental status, really, if they're under anesthesia, because we're giving them some type of medication that's going to mess with their cognitive abilities. And so you really can't do that much. But, I mean, I had a really good friend. She was taking care of a patient in the PACU, and the patient became agitated after the anesthesia. And this isn't, you know, this is kind of the darker side of it. And the patient punched her. Because they just didn't realize, you know, I mean, and these things happen. Everyone also has a different reaction to anesthesia sometimes. And that was it. She was out for 6 weeks. So I just kind of thought it was also a good time to bring to light that the medical profession, we do have to.
You guys take a lot.
The consequences. We do, and we do it because we really care. And we all, you know, like I wouldn't trade my profession for the world. But that free pass, you know, it's not 100% scotch free.
Well, if I did that, I would bring you guys donuts every day for a year, at least. Maybe life.
The guy that punched the nurse, did he get in trouble for that?
No, he did not, because, you know, it is also a thing of nurses and doctors, and we tend to underreport things in the medical field.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I kind of remember talking to her about that, and she said, what am I going to do? She said, well, you know, he was heavily sedated, and he saw me, and he woke up, and he got freaked out, and he punched her. You know, and that is part of the issue, too, why we try and educate the medical community to, even if it was not with a malicious intent that someone did something, to still report it, because a lot of this stuff goes very underreported. Yeah.
Well, some interesting perspective. Annie, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. Sorry to dampen the topic a little bit.
No, it's that's kind of what it was. I just had this horror of, like, I think I'm a decent human being, but I'm like, what if I woke up a monster?
Well, that's just it. What if you've never done anything bad in your life, and you go on this crazy?
That's kind of what some people had said. That's why I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I am the worst human being coming out of anesthesia, and I couldn't even live with myself.
But should you get, I mean, is it your fault? You know what I mean?
I don't know that it is, but it still makes you wonder, what is inside of me that coming out of anesthesia, I could act like that and do these things?
That's the question. Does it create a monster, or is the monster already in there?
I'd be in therapy for life. I'd be like, what? There's a monster in here.
Man.
Oh, it's crazy.
Ow! There's a lot of dumbass criminals to talk about, baby. It's the whacked out news. People breaking the law. Ha ha, fighting in the nude. Ha, drunk people pooping in the street. Ha ha, it's the whacked out news.
So many people are mad.
Ow!
I don't know if you remember this guy. I talked about him before. He's the guy that keeps putting that big old gerbil ball out in the water and then trying to wheel himself to different places, but it never goes well. And then the Coast Guard always has to come in to rescue this guy.
I kind of relate to this guy.
Yeah, in 2014, that's what happened when he tried to reach Bermuda from, I think he took off from Fort Lauderdale in his homemade hydropod. Basically, it's a metal drum with paddle wheels on either side, which are buoyant. theoretically allowing him to run across the waves like a big old gerbil and a ball, but it just never works out well for him. They had to rescue him in 2014, and now he was just rescued again off of the coast of Florida, not too far from St. Augustine. He was apparently trying to gerbil wheel run all the way to New York City in this floating hamster wheel. He was doing it for charity, so you hate to completely trash the guy. And it's always smart. If you're going to do something dumb, just say you're doing it for charity because they'll be a lot easier on you.
A little bit.
Yeah, but he was trying to get there to New York City to raise money for these charities, which are all good charities, but didn't work out very well for him. And just not even like a mile later, they had to rescue him again.
How badly do we need one of those balls, though? The KVJ show needs one.
They'd be fun. They don't get you anywhere.
I think they're expensive.
Oh, I think this guy and I think they're expensive, and I think he also kind of, added his own, modulation to his.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is kind of his thing. He has had a couple successful attempts doing other things. Apparently, he's actually run from Los Angeles to New York twice and circled the U.S. perimeter in an 11,720-mile trek. So he does. Okay. He's got the heart to do it, but his floating gerbil wheel is just not very good.
I get it.
He always gets, and I think he always seems to do it about the worst time of year. And if he's going up there, I think we have a storm that is right up that way. Like, I think he's going to wheel himself right into a tropical depression, which that can't be good if you're just in nothing but a floating hamster wheel.
God bless him.
Yeah.
Who am I to
He's
judge?
got the heart. He's got the heart. There's some idiot that got pulled over in Massachusetts for a homemade license plate with apparently had terrible handwriting on it. They couldn't even make out the numbers on it, so they pulled him over. And then when they did, they found out the car wasn't registered and his license was also expired.
Shocking.
But then they saw a jank-looking family-sized box of Frosted Flakes, and they said, that doesn't look like that'd just be a regular cereal box. That thing has a story to tell.
There was something up with the
So
okay.
they took a little look inside and apparently had 3,000 tiny bags of heroin in it. So
it's got a look.
Yeah, it just had
it's got a feel.
It just had a feel like that's just not cereal. A very drunk man and woman were having sex on a crowded beach in Poland last Friday. It's crazy. They're just right there. It is broad daylight. There's families and everybody else around on the beach.
There's video?
There's video.
You saw it.
Yeah, you see it. They blur out the naughty bits. You can't see much. And the guy is so wasted. He's basically just laying on top of this poor woman, not even moving. And people are just like, come on, man. One woman squirted water on the couple. Another guy started tapping the guy on the back. And then one angry guy came up and started hitting the guy with his flip-flops. And the dude didn't fight back. He just kind of stumbled away without putting his pants on. It was just a really disgusting display.
I told you about that one time. I was looking out my window and I was living at the apartment up in Gardens, and I was right by the barbecue pit area and the picnic area.
Yeah.
And there was this middle-aged couple. They were very drunk and they were dry humping so hard on top of a car, so sweaty. But I couldn't take my eyes off. It so grabbed your attention, but it was just so drunk and sloppy.
I guess you just can't even believe it.
Sweaty.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Gross.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this video. We put this on our Twitter. This is a couple that was day drinking in Las Vegas. And you see he's having a hard time with his balance. He falls over, and she's so hammered, she tries to do something funny. She's going to go over and kick him. But as she tries to go over and lightly kick him playfully, she then falls back into the bushes. And then he tries to help her out of the bushes, and then he drunkenly falls backwards too.
I can't tell if they're great together or if they're horrible for each other.
It's amazing how blasted people are getting in the middle of the day. So that's another example. So if you want to see that drunken exhibition, that is on the KVJ Show Twitter.
When you say something like that, people getting blasted in the middle of the day. We got to look within.
You're right.
On the show.
You're right. I'm sure there are a few videos like this of us out there too. There's a Japanese guy that has just made it into a medical journal for all the wrong reasons. Apparently, his excessive stroking actually gave him a stroke. He's 51, he's single, and apparently he's in the habit of pleasuring himself several times a day.
Wait, hold on. You get a stroke from this?
Apparently, because, it does things with your blood pressure and whatnot, and blood pressure comes with having strokes.
So if you're a workhorse, this is going to hinder you?
He was finishing up a self-love session apparently last year when he suffered a serious stroke that almost killed him.
Oh my gosh, that's a horror. This talk about a nightmare.
He showed up at a hospital with severe headache and he couldn't stop puking. They had to do a surgery to help him make a full recovery. But yes, apparently you can whip yourself into a stroke by stroking.
Oh my gosh, if I ever hurt myself or die in the middle
That
of
way?
that, I pray that sweet Denny's is the one that finds me. I don't want my dad finding me like that, dog.
No, you don't want to.
I do
Yeah,
not want my
don't want to go out that way.
I don't want the juicy daddy finding me like that.
No. There's a real sick, twisted pony. Some guy has been calling libraries all over the country and asking librarians to read him boring legal jargon while he pleasures himself.
Oh my gosh, people are weird, man. They got weird ticks.
A librarian in Connecticut talked about it on a Facebook group, and then other librarians said, yes, apparently this is kind of a common thing. This sick, twisted monkey is specifically wanted her to read stuff about Brady versus Maryland, a 1963 Supreme Court case that said prosecutors have to share evidence if it could exonerate a defendant. Other librarians in this Facebook group had similar calls from guys asking them to read random stuff like listing the titles of John Grisham books.
Could you imagine being that weird? I mean, really coming to grips with being, that's what really gets you off. That's what you desire. You're weirding people out. You're calling libraries. Imagine being that weird.
No.
That would be rough.
I can't. Can you?
No.
Okay,
and,
really?
and I'm weird. And I
Okay.
can't imagine being that weird.
Okay. Well, there's a couple things here as the numbers start to tick back up, at least here in Florida with the coronavirus. They say that the pandemic forced unscheduled production changes to accommodate home drinkers as opposed to bar and restaurant drinkers who usually consume beer from kegs. We got another problem. Cans, ink, and glass are in short supply. So, hate to freak people out, but apparently you might start seeing some take-home booze being in short supply. And there's other things that are going on as we're trying to figure out whether we're going to wear masks or separate or what's going on again. There's a high school that's apologizing because at their prom, they had students and their dates display their vaccination status. What had happened was if you had the vaccine, they would put like a mark on you to let you know, and apparently they were separating some people based on their vaccination status, and a review of the event found that marking people's hands may have violated educational and privacy laws. So people trying to figure out how to handle that as we're dealing with more pressure for people who are unvaccinated and what exactly you can do. I had even seen that there is a restaurant in Atlanta that was saying that if you're unvaccinated, you are not allowed to eat there. So they've got a sign up. So different things are happening along those ways. So there you go. And that is your whacked out news. So what do you think? Do you pay for your adult kids? And kids, do you think your parents should still be paying for you? Got an email that said, my wife and I took our family to the Marlins game on Saturday, and we went to sit in our seats, and the kids, they're all in their 20s and full-time employed. We're going to walk around and eat and drink because it was the Marlins Beer Fest going on. Well, our son asked if we'd pay for the food and drinks, and I said, nah, dude, you got it. Why? Because I'm not paying for 3 adults to eat at a baseball game when I already paid for the tickets. Am I wrong? What would Kevin of Virginia do? Well, I've got adult kids, and my wife is completely the opposite of where you are set. And I'll have her, in her own words, explain it. She basically feels that she wants to see the kids. She wants it to be a good experience. She likes having that family unit together, and they are more likely to want to hang out with us and be a part of our lives if we're going to flip the bill. Now, I'll take it to a different level. This guy would hate to hear this because the one problem we do have sometimes is my daughter hardly ever travels anywhere by herself. She comes with a crew. This girl's got a posse.
Entourage.
And most of the time, yes. When she shows up, she's got at least one friend, sometimes as many as 2 or 3. And we're doing a dinner, and so we got to watch kind of where we go because if she might be showing up, we're like going, man, okay, that's going to triple the bill. It can get really expensive because my wife will want to pay for her and her friends.
I remember being a teenager and going out with my friend and their parents and out to dinner, and I always had anxiety because I was thinking, do they expect me to give money right now?
Yeah.
I don't have any money. Are they paying for me? And it almost I couldn't enjoy the meal because I didn't know the rules of what to do. It made me uncomfortable.
Well, you don't want to order what you really want because you're like, it's $20, you know?
Yeah, and so when is this? When you have your parents stop paying, or does it get weird and uncomfortable? Now, I'll go out even with my parents still, and a lot of times my dad will pick up the tab, be like, oh, thank you. He's treating the family to that. I'm like, that's nice. It's a chance for you to do that. I don't feel weird by that. But is there a certain time or a place where it just gets to be too much? It's like, nah, Dad, I can pay for it myself. Or how long do you pay for your kids? Because I have a feeling that my wife, she'll continue paying for the kids anytime we are out. I think that's something she will always do. And her take is that if we can't afford to pay for the kids, then we shouldn't be going out.
Yeah, I would feel weird. If I had adult kids and I'm taking them out to dinner, we're going out to dinner, I would feel weird taking money from them. I'd be like, I'm buying dinner. I'm your dad. I'm the dad.
If they show up with friends, are you paying for the friends?
Yeah,
I mean, you kind of have to.
Yeah, I would. Because don't go out to dinner then. Expect the unexpected when you go out to dinner.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious where parents are set, because this guy, even with his own kids at the Marlins game on Saturday, they're in their 20s, and they were going to walk around and eat and drink, and they're like, hey, can we get some money? And he's like, no. He's like, I got the tickets. Like, you guys are on your own. You have jobs.
Well, the fact that kids are asking for the money is weird, too, if they're an adult.
Okay.
The tickets I get. But
sure.
The dad should also offer to get, I don't know, what the heck do I don't have kids, Kevin.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious where you're set. Do you pay for your adult kids, and do you pay for your adult kids and their friends? So what do you think? Somebody said the parents should stop paying for their child whenever the child moves out and into their own apartment or house.
Yeah, technically, of course, we get all that. But if your dad asks you out to dinner, I would expect the dad to pay. If I was the dad, I would pay. I would expect to pay.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm the one asking out to dinner.
One text said, out to dinner is one thing. I'd pay for my adult child there. But at a sporting event, your adult kids, they want to booze, they want to eat. If you're talking about alcohol, that should be something that the kids should buy themselves.
You're not obligated for the alcohol. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Somebody else said, excuse me, hell to the no. They can pay for themselves. They should be glad to spend time with their family and let them pay. In fact, they should be buying food for the mom and dad. And I know my wife's take on that, because she feels the opposite of that. She's like, look, it's just human nature. These kids, if they have a choice of going out and raging and having fun with their friends or spending time with their parents, they're going to choose their friends. And so my wife wants to make it as inviting of an atmosphere as possible. So hopefully the kids will choose more often than not to spend time with us, rather than always just spending time with their friends and not including their parents. That's her personal take on it. We got Kanisha here from Port St. Lucie. What is your thought on this, on paying for your adult children, Kanisha?
Well, I don't have adult children. I have two sets of twins, but when I go out with my mom, she always fits the bill. And when we go on trips, she always pays for us to go on trips also. Even when we're on the trip, if we want juice or go on an excursion or anything, she always pays the bill.
Now, do you feel like you're more inclined then to want to go on these trips and be with your mom, knowing that she's going to pick up the tab?
Well, I guess.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a free
I would
trip.
think, yeah. I mean, you may not want to say yes, but I think yes is the truth.
To me, it's a hell yes.
Yes. And that's the way my wife feels, because she wants the kids to be like, heck, this is going to be great. Mom and dad's going to pick up the tab. We're going to have a great old time. Because, our kids, they do make money, but they don't have mad cash. Like, they've got to watch every single penny. And they do still want to go out with their friends. And so if it's going to take a big deficit out of their measly little bank accounts, then they're like, maybe I'll just, hold on to that when I go out raging with my friends, and won't spend that with my parents.
I went to lunch with my dad, the Panera Bread. I got 2 grilled cheeses. My dad paid for me. I wasn't expecting him to, but he did, and it was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I got that bisque, Denny's.
It is kind of interesting. In the comments we got, for the most part, it sounds like a lot of people think that the kids should pay for themselves. And they say, at a certain point, when you're an adult, hey, they taking care of you all the way up to 18 or 20 or whatever it was. At some point, maybe at least at the age of 25, the roles should reverse. You should be paying for your parents more often than they pay for you.
Every situation is going to be different.
I agree.
Every relationship's going to be different.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to have a little bit of a different attitude when it comes to that. So what would you do with this? Somebody gives you information about a cold murder case. Do you do anything with it? And if you do, what? Jbird apparently has been given this information, and he's trying to figure out exactly what he should do with it. Should he get involved? Should he investigate? Are you thinking about trying to crack the case yourself, Jbird?
So here's the situation, and I want to speak. I want to be sensitive with how I speak because I don't want to cause any problems or any drama, especially with this case.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody got information from somebody else. Okay, you following me?
Okay.
Now, the person that got this information from the other person, they know that I'm very, very obsessed and interested in this case.
Okay.
And this is a cold case. This is somebody who got the information where they know of the circle of people where this person, of this person who is murdered. Okay, if that makes sense. And they got this information with a name of who potentially killed this person.
Okay.
And they want me to investigate it. Now,
they want you to investigate
because I'm in the media and because I've expressed interest in this case before.
Right.
So there is a name attached to this where they think this person was involved in this murder. Now, do I get involved or not? We don't know. There's nothing 100%. I don't know if this person is legit involved. Now, if I start digging and they're not, I've opened up a can of worms. Now I'm involved in something I don't know if I want to be involved in.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
So the information you have, is it just somebody that's a lead? Is it a hunch? Is there any details behind it? Or do they just paint shade onto one person's name without giving you much to go on?
They said that the day of the murder, this person was around and with this person who had been murdered.
Okay.
And that there's witnesses of that person being with that person, but I guess maybe police have not gotten involved. Now, again, the person that with this source, I have not spoke to this source. I'm almost like a second person removed from the what's going on.
Yeah.
But they can set it up to where I talk to that person. They will give me the same name. They'll give me the same information. And what I do with that's up to me.
Have they taken the information that they had to the police
They
to
have
let
not.
them know? Okay.
They have not.
Because my first thought would be that you would take this to the police so that they could, do what they get paid to do and what they've been trained to do and have the authority to do and go try to close this case.
So what I'm thinking is that this one person told this other person maybe it is not wanting to get it out possibly, but now that I know about it and it is out, I think they're finding out that maybe they should want to at least look into it. I don't think they want to get the police involved yet until they have they know for sure. I think I got to ask some questions first.
But then how would you even go about it investigating this? Are you going to do an interview face-to-face with the person who they're throwing shade at to find out where they were or where were you on this day?
That's the question. What do you do? How do you?
I would think that pretty much what you've got to do is take this to the police and say, hey, do you guys have an open case on this? Who's handling this? Who is in charge of it? Here's what someone had told me just to let you know. And I will let you know if I get any more information.
Well, what happens if this person doesn't want to go to the police? Do I still get involved? Do I go to the police with it?
If they wouldn't go to the police, I don't know what you can do other than maybe, bunk it up or get somebody looking at you.
Well, do I guess maybe I'm asked, should I even get involved in this?
I would probably not get more involved than to just try to get it to the police so that they can deal with it.
Do I at least try to go and interview this one person who has this story to see if it's even credible?
I think the only way you can do anything to try to help a cold case in a murder, and I've seen where maybe the police are like, yeah, we don't want to reopen that. It's closed. You can do online investigation. You can look and try to find clues and details that way that they just don't feel inspired to do. But I think the first step is you got to give the police the first right of refusal to do something with it.
And they might have already gone to the police with his name, and maybe the police don't think this name is. I don't know much.
I would get an answer to
I
that
don't know
first,
much
yeah.
about all that.
Mhm.
All I know is this person came to me saying, "I've got information. I've got a name attached to this case, and no one's doing anything about it." It seems like.
Well, I just don't know what else you can do other than going to this person face to face and trying to talk to them about, like, hey,
Did you
were
do
with
this?
somebody that died. Yeah, did you have anything to do with it? And they're going to be like, no. And they're going to tell you no. And then where do you even go from there? How do you find out what they did for the whole course of the day? And you don't have the authority to really investigate. I think that you would get shut down pretty quick.
Well, sometimes people do go to the police, and the police go, "Well, there's not much we can do either." But
Sure.
the people that know the information, they feel that they have the right person.
Yeah. I've heard of stories where people go to the police first. The police just don't want to put the resources to it because they don't think there's anything there, or it just was a dead end for them. And you could try to investigate it yourself, but exactly how do you get that information? You have no authority to do this, and you're probably going to have to skirt along breaking some laws yourself to get the information that would even help you.
Well, the reason why this one person came to me because they know I care about this case and I'm
Okay.
obsessed with it.
Caring's good.
So maybe that's why they're thinking I'm going to push it along and help get the story out, if that makes sense.
I don't even know what you would do, but maybe somebody has some insight. My only thought would be I'd be beelining to the cops with the information I had, or talking to them saying you should go to the cops.
And then I have a cop question too. Let's say I do go to the cops. Let's say I get this information and I feel, all right, do the cops, and they go and question this person, do the cops have to tell that person where that source came from? Go, this came from Jason Pennington. He wanted to have you questioned.
I don't think so, but I'll let a cop answer that.
Okay.
Because I don't know for sure. So I have no idea on how to do this.
What about getting involved in Ralston?
Yeah.
Is this something?
Or should you get involved?
Is this crazy enough? Just crazy enough that I should get involved?
Okay. Any thoughts on this? Should Jbird try to solve a cold case murder?
Yeah, and I think I need to explain it a little better. I think what had happened was there was a person talking at a party about it, and they think they have information. Now, whether they wanted this information out, I don't know. But they told one person, and then this person told me, and there was a name, a person of interest, a name attached to it. Now, whether they wanted me to get involved or not, I don't. They might have never gone to the police. They may not want it, anyone to get involved. But the fact that I do have a name to it, makes me feel like.
Well, I just don't even know what you would do. I mean, as a regular person,
do you just give that name to the police? What if it's wrong? What if it's bad information?
Well, here's some of the comments that are coming in. Somebody said, "Stay away, Bird. You have nothing. It's all speculation and hearsay from a friend." So they're saying, do not pursue it. A couple of people with some jokes said it took Jbird 2 days to find his pants. I don't think he would help much on a cold case.
And that's fine, and I get that, but they are different things. They're different.
Okay. And somebody said, can't the person with the cold case info just call Crime Stoppers? It's anonymous.
So I'm wondering if they didn't even want to, have it come out. I wasn't at the party, but there was chirping going on at the party with details of the murder, or at least of the person of interest.
Okay.
And how they thought they were involved in it somehow, and now I have the name of that person.
Yeah. Now, I got a buddy of mine that is in law enforcement. He works with homicide, the homicide division, and he texted me. He said, I can make arrangements for Jbird to talk to the lead detective on the case, and he said Jbird should certainly not start questioning people, as there are very specific methods of interviewing, including reading Miranda in the event the suspect is questioned. So,
I'm not doing no confronting of this murderer or potential murderer. All I'm saying is this was a case that's always been near and dear to my heart, and the fact that someone reached out to me and said, "Look, I heard this at a party, and it's." Whether it's credible or not, I at least have a name about the, involved with the case.
Yeah. So I can get you plugged in. This person will walk you to the detective that could or would be handling this case, and they can take what you know and then say, okay, yeah.
How does that work, though? I mean, would they even take that seriously? It's a name given at a party.
They might, and it depends upon what information they have now. Sometimes things kind of go cold, and they may already have a lead suspect or somebody they think did it, but there's that gap where it's like, okay, all things point to them, but you can't get a conviction unless you have the information and proof that is beyond a reasonable doubt. And so I believe there's a lot of cases that they pretty much know this person did it, but they know they would not get the conviction, so there's nothing they can do about it at this point.
Well, I mean, I lived in an apartment where above me there was an unsolved cold murder. Remember that?
I do,
and they think they know who did it, but they don't have enough proof. But it all makes sense of who they think, but it's still a cold case. Even though they've got all of this information, and it all points to this one person, they still don't have enough.
Just not enough to, and they know they understand what the bar is that they have to jump over to get the conviction.
Then you always hear these things where they go, if you have any information, no matter how small or great, you should give it.
And it may contribute. It may take them down a new path or open something up, or somebody that they hadn't even looked at before.
But that means they'd have to question the person at the party, probably. They'd have to go to that whole... They'd have to say, why were you talking at the party? What kind of information? Where are you getting your information from?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I think they do have the Crime Stoppers and things like that where you can leave anonymous tips. It is probably harder for them because they don't have much more to go on other than just a name, but at least it's something.
All right. Much to think about.
Yeah, I'd say probably at least go in there, and luckily we got a contact. I can get you plugged in, possibly the right person.
Then I'd be getting involved.
You would be getting involved, yeah. But I mean, hey, if you could solve somebody's murder and bring somebody to justice, it should be.
This would be a big
That's
one.
a great thing to do. Absolutely. It's so frustrating. Have you ever been trying to wash your hands and you can't either get the sink to work or the soap dispenser to do anything, and you're like, what the heck is going on? And you're waving your hands like, what is the magic trick to doing this? I didn't know much about it, but apparently, depending upon what your skin tone is, it can be even harder to get any kind of soap out of the dispensers. There's a design flaw that apparently if you've got darker skin, you may realize that this is part of the flaw. Now, I've got crazy white skin, and I still struggle with this, so I can't even imagine. There was a video at a Marriott hotel, and they kind of proved this, where automatic soap dispensers are really unable to detect a black customer's hands. Now, the dispenser uses near-infrared technology to detect hand motion, so that's part of it, but the invisible light is reflected back from the skin, which triggers the sensor. So if you have darker skin tones, it'll absorb more light. Thus, enough light isn't reflected back to the sensor to activate the soap dispenser. And so in the video, they demonstrate a white guy goes up, he gets soap, no problem. And then they got a black guy go up and they're like, going, see, nothing. Not working. And apparently when they had done the initial run-throughs on this, maybe they didn't try a variety of skin tones, and there's still a flaw in it.
That's what I'm saying. Is this something that's designed to keep people down, or is it just a mistake?
It's not like somebody intentionally said, I'm going to come up with something where black people can't get soap. No, it's just that when they ran it through, they didn't necessarily get it. But I was like, man, I've struggled with that. I had no idea how the technology actually worked. And so now I think they're trying to fix a lot of the sinks and soap dispensers that are out there, saying, okay, we got to figure a way to trigger these things for every skin tone that is out there. So
this sounds like this is to fire people up.
No, I think it's just to show, like, you know, what basically happens, that if you have a hard time getting soap, this is the technology that works on it. Sure, if you want to take it and make it a big case, thinking there's a big conspiracy and they're trying to keep, you know, people with darker skin tones from ever getting any kind of soap, then I guess you can run with that and try to prove it.
That's what the media will do. They will absolutely run with it like that.
This isn't my take on that. This isn't a story. It's just helping you understand the technology that gives you the soap and why sometimes it may or may not work.
I honestly don't trust public soap. When you go out in the bathroom,
you're right.
Don't do it, because kids in my high school used to pee in there, and then you would go spray the soap on there, and it would come out as pee. And our soap here at work is disgusting and gross.
In fact, if there's any conspiracy, I think it may be the reverse, that they have done this so only white people can get the nasty, messed with soap. And that's the problem we have.
We have a legitimate soap problem here at work.
Oh, I won't use the soap here. I only use the disinfectant because it smells like tin, like there's rust or tin. I don't know that they've necessarily cleaned it out, and the smell of it, it makes your hands smell worse. I'm like, I don't even know what that is, but when there's a pungent smell that's not good, then yeah, I'll just take my chances with some disinfectant.
I'm not kidding. It burns. There's a burn.
Yes.
What's going on with our soap around here?
It's not a good sign.
We got to make some. That and the vending machine. We need some adjustments, Kev.
So really, if the soap dispenser doesn't work for you, you should be thankful.
You should be.
You should be thankful. In Kentucky, and so she was in New Orleans over the weekend, or actually in
Tennessee.
Yeah, she was in Nashville over the weekend, celebrating with her sister, her birthday.
Was her birthday yesterday legit, or is it today?
Her birthday legit is tomorrow.
Wow, I'm on. I wish her happy birthday yesterday.
Did you?
Like, happy birthday, V. See you on Wednesday. Hope your day's great.
Yeah. Yeah, her birthday's tomorrow.
Oh, gosh. I know nothing.
So, yeah, we celebrated on Friday here in the studio because she won't be back with us till probably Thursday. So that's where she is. So it's just a dude show. That's what the After the Show podcast is going to be. You notice that when she's gone, the show's a lot cleaner.
It is.
Kind of a weird thing.
It is cleaner.
It's weird that way, but yeah. So, but we'll see. It'll be unrated.
I mean, I do swear
as
a lot.
always.
I can't say I don't
Yeah,
swear on that thing.
yeah.
I swear a lot on that.
You'll still have some stuff. So that's going to be coming up in just about 10 minutes on YouTube. You can watch it there or get it on our free WRMF app or any place where you get your app. Spotify, we're up there too every single day, and Apple Music. All right, Jbird, before we get to the After the Show, wrap it up with your thought for the day.
I like this one. It's simple, but it really packs a punch.
Okay.
Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game.
That's right.
Get up there, strike out. Who gives a crap?
That's what you got to do. You got to swing big. Swing for the fences.
Go for
You
it.
can't hit a home run if you don't swing, Bird.
Yes.
The KVJ Show on 97.9 WRMF.